I want you to close your eyes for just a second.
Okay.
Imagine you're hovering maybe, I don't know, 500 feet in the air. Right below you is one of the oldest, most densely packed cities on the planet.
Right.
And it's the middle of the night, maybe
Mhm.
2 a.m., but looking down, you would absolutely never know it. Because the city isn't dark. It's glowing.
It looks like a circuit board that's overheating, doesn't it?
Yes, exactly. It's pulsing. You see these endless strings of amber lights, neon lanterns hanging between balconies, like everywhere. Entire building facades wrapped in LEDs, and thousands upon thousands of people just moving through the arteries of the city like blood cells.
It's electric.
It's chaotic. And honestly, it looks like a carnival on a massive, massive scale.
It really is a striking image. And just to ground us and you, listening, we aren't describing a scene from a sci-fi movie.
No, we're not.
We are looking at a transcript from a video by Panorama Egypt. It's titled, "See the Splendor of Historic Cairo After Development." And I think the word splendor is doing a lot of heavy lifting there, but it honestly feels accurate.
Absolutely. And what captivated me right off the bat wasn't just the lights. I mean, we've seen bright cities before, Tokyo, New York.
Yeah.
But the specific energy here is different.
Very different.
The source describes this drone shot sweeping over Cairo, and it feels like the city is literally vibrating. But here's the thing, and this is why we're doing this deep dive today. We are not just going to talk about pretty lights or where to buy the best lantern, the fanoos as they call it.
Right. If you want travel tips, there are plenty of blogs out there for that. We're doing a deep dive into the actual machinery behind this.
Exactly. We are here to unpack a massive, highly coordinated urban overhaul. Because what looks like a giant street festival from the air is actually the result of some serious heavy lifting on the ground.
Yeah, we're talking about how a cultural and religious event, Ramadan, is actually driving major infrastructure changes.
It is a fascinating intersection that you just don't see in many other places.
You really don't. You have faith, you have this deep-rooted tradition, and then you have hardcore urban planning and logistics colliding. The source material frames this as Ramadan Tourism, which is a concept I really want to dig into with you. But it's also about the fundamental restoration of historic Cairo.
So we've got drone shows in the sky and literal bulldozers on the ground.
That is the exact paradox we're looking at today. How do you keep a megacity moving when its entire schedule flips completely upside down for a month? And maybe more importantly, how do you renovate a city that is over 1,000 years old without ruining the very thing that makes it special?
Okay, let's unpack this. I'm going to start with the vibe, because the source makes a really interesting point about how the world actually started paying attention to this.
Right.
It wasn't some multi-million-dollar ad campaign that started it. It wasn't a Super Bowl commercial.
No, it wasn't. It was a shaky video.
A shaky video. The source mentions this specific viral phenomenon. A traveler, just a regular tourist, took a video on their personal phone. No gimbal, no fancy color grading, no editing suite, just the raw, chaotic beauty of the Cairo streets during Ramadan. And it just blew up.
It went totally viral on foreign sites, which is the key detail here. It garnered millions of views globally, and that signals a massive shift in how we consume travel content today.
Because it wasn't polished.
Exactly. It was authentic. It signaled to people that Ramadan in Egypt is a totally unique brand.
It creates an intense sense of FOMO, right?
Absolutely.
Fear of missing out. You see that video, the noise, the massive crowd, the lights, and you think, man, I want to be in that crowd. I want to feel that exact energy.
Precisely. And the source points out that the government saw this traction and said, okay, wait a minute. If a shaky phone video can capture the world's imagination like this, what happens if we actually lean into it? It's a masterclass in soft power. The organic viral moment proved the concept. The atmosphere itself is the product. So now, as the source details, the celebrations have evolved from a local grassroots tradition into a state-sponsored spectacle.
It's the difference between a neighborhood block party and the Olympics opening ceremony.
That's a great way to put it. It used to be just residents hanging some lanterns and maybe stringing some lights across the alleyways.
Yeah.
Now, it is next level. The source describes decorating entire residential buildings.
Oh, yeah. We're talking about the whole facade.
10 stories high, totally wrapped in coordinated lighting.
And get this, drone shows.
Yes, that detail really stood out to me too.
For the first time, they're integrating drone shows into the celebrations, creating these creative paintings in the sky. It is blending high-tech entertainment with incredibly traditional roots.
And that's the hook. If you can combine that authentic, street-level energy that went viral with a polished cinematic presentation, you have a massive tourism product. But, and this is the big but here, you cannot invite the world to a party if the guests cannot fit through the door.
Which brings us to the unsexy part.
The logistics.
Because looking at pretty lights is great, but if you're stuck in gridlock for 6 hours, the magic fades pretty fast. And Cairo is famous for its traffic on a normal Tuesday afternoon.
Precisely. Now add a massive influx of international tourists and shift the entire local population's active hours to the middle of the night.
Right, because people are fasting during the day.
Exactly. It is a logistical nightmare waiting to happen. Usually, cities slow down at night, but during Ramadan in Cairo, the city wakes up.
So how are they handling it? The source lists some very specific changes to the transport network. It's almost like the city is changing its heartbeat.
That is adaptive urban planning in a nutshell. First, look at the mass transit. They are extending the operating hours for the metro and the light rail transit, or LRT.
By an extra hour, right?
Correct. Now, to you or me, an hour might not sound like a huge deal. Oh, the train runs until 1 a.m. instead of midnight. But in transit planning, it's huge. Keeping a system that massive running for an extra hour every single day is a massive operational cost. You have maintenance windows that get squeezed. You have staffing schedules that have to completely change, electricity costs. But they do it because it's necessary. The city doesn't sleep, so the trains can't sleep.
And they've added night service buses, too.
Yes. Buses running all the way until dawn, until Fajr. These are specifically targeted to serve the tourist and entertainment areas.
You're not just stranded.
Exactly. If you're out late enjoying the vibe in downtown or historic Cairo, you have reliable public transit until the sun comes up. It's about safety and it's about accessibility.
That is huge for a tourist. There is nothing scarier than being in a foreign city at 2 a.m. and realizing the train stopped running and you can't find a cab.
Totally.
But here is the detail that really caught my eye in the transcript, the Azar Tunnel.
Ah, yes. The Azar Tunnel.
The source says it is operating continuously through weekends. Why is that specific tunnel so important?
Because of where it goes. The Azar Tunnel is the main artery connecting downtown to the Al-Hussein and Al-Azhar areas.
Okay.
Those areas are the epicenters of the Ramadan celebration. That's where the historic mosques are, where the legendary markets are. It's probably where that shaky viral video was filmed.
So it's basically the funnel everyone has to go through to get to the party.
Exactly. If that tunnel clogs up, the whole center of the city creates this massive gridlock ripple effect. It's like a blood clot in the main artery. Keeping it open continuously is a highly strategic move to keep the blood flowing to the heart of the festival. It's not just about convenience, it's about preventing the total paralysis of the city center.
Okay, so we have the vibe marketing, and we have the transport schedule shifting to a night owl mode. But the source material goes even deeper than that.
Much deeper.
This isn't just about temporary fixes for a month-long party. They are literally rebuilding parts of the city.
This is the core of our deep dive right here. The source explicitly states that this is part of a comprehensive plan to revive the heart of the capital. And they are specifically focusing on high-density areas. This is where we get into that tension between preservation and modernization. It's basically urban surgery.
Let's talk about specific locations, because the list is impressive. They mentioned Sayyida Aisha. Now, anyone who knows Cairo knows this is a frantic, busy, crowded area. What exactly are they doing there?
They are doing some very heavy demolition and reorganization. The source mentions the removal of random properties, which is usually urban planning speak for slums, informal settlements, or unregulated shops that were literally attached to the historic mosque.
Wow, that sounds intense. Removal of random properties.
It is intense, and it's usually controversial, too. They are completely clearing the area around the heritage site, but they are also developing the squares and physically moving random parking lots.
To get traffic moving.
To improve traffic fluidity, yes. But visually, it's about decluttering. They want to create a clear line of sight to the history.
It's like cleaning the grime off an old oil painting. You're removing the visual pollution so you can actually see the art underneath.
That's a perfect analogy. And you see this exact same philosophy again in Al-Hussein and Darb al-Abana. The source talks about restoring historic facades and maintaining the walls of the Al-Hussein Mosque specifically to receive visitors.
Right.
This isn't just patching up a crack in the sidewalk. It is heritage management on a strict deadline. They are treating the city as a stage that needs to be perfectly set for the performance.
And there's Bab Zuweila and Al-Qayyamiyah. Al-Khaimi is the tent makers market, right? That place is legendary.
It is one of the last covered markets in Cairo. It dates back hundreds of years. The source notes they are modernizing the road networks and infrastructure there, but, and this is a crucial distinction, they are doing it while preserving the heritage character of the market.
Why is that distinction so important?
Because they know that if they make it look too modern, they kill the goose that lays the golden egg. If you pave over the cobblestones with smooth asphalt and put up bright neon signage, it stops being historic Cairo. It just becomes a regular outdoor mall.
Yeah, you lose the magic.
The charm is the history, so they have to modernize the plumbing and the roads so thousands of people can actually walk there safely, but without making it look new.
I noticed they also mentioned green space, which really caught me off guard. Because that isn't something I immediately associate with the heart of historic Cairo. It's usually just concrete on concrete.
You're talking about the project at Sermagra, El Ayoun, and Fustat Gardens?
Right, Fustat. That's the oldest part of the city, isn't it?
It was the very first Islamic capital in Egypt. They are turning that area around the historic aqueduct into a new recreational outlet for residents. This is significant because, as we said, Cairo is incredibly dense. Creating a new, large-scale green space or recreational area near the historic walls completely changes the livability of the city. It gives people a place to go that isn't just a busy street or a packed cafe. It's like adding lungs to a body that has been holding its breath for decades.
So if I'm hearing this right, the grand strategy is clear out the informal settlements, polish the historic buildings, fix the roads so the insane traffic actually moves, and add some parks. It is a massive structural facelift.
It really is. And it extends beyond just the medieval parts of the city. The source makes a very specific point to discuss Khedivial Cairo, which is the downtown area built in the 19th century.
This is the area that looks a bit like Paris.
Yeah.
Right? The wide boulevards, the European architecture.
Exactly. It was actually built to rival Paris, but over the decades it got covered in dust, giant neon signs, thousands of air conditioning units, and mismatched paint jobs. The source details the reclamation of these historic facades. They want to match the architectural coordination of the original design. They want to bring back that specific elegance.
They gave a specific example in the transcript that actually made me laugh a little bit. The opera garage.
Oh, yes. The garage.
Even the parking garages are getting a makeover. It feels like nothing is safe from a fresh coat of paint.
Well, and think about it from a design perspective. The Opera Garage and the administrative buildings nearby are massive structures. They take up a lot of visual real estate.
True.
If you spend millions restoring the Opera House and the beautiful statues, but the massive concrete block right next to them looks run down and grimy, the whole neighborhood still looks run down.
Yeah, makes sense.
By revamping the garage to fit the aesthetic, you create a cohesive visual experience. It's world building, essentially. You don't want anything to break the tourist's immersion.
And speaking of garages and cars, we have to talk about Ramses Square. The source mentions a new multi-story parking lot there.
Ramses Square is, well, if you've ever been there, it is chaos incarnate. It is the central train station, a major intersection, a metro hub, and a bus depot all mashed into one place. It is traditionally a bottleneck where traffic just goes to die.
So does a parking lot really change that?
A multi-story parking lot plus a new ramp connecting directly to the October Bridge. That ramp is the key detail.
Why is a ramp so important?
It's fluid dynamics. The October Bridge is the main highway in the sky that cuts right through Cairo. The source explains that this new ramp connects traffic flow directly to reduce overcrowding. Instead of cars endlessly circling the square, fighting with pedestrians and microbuses just to try to get onto the bridge, they have a direct lineup. It's plumbing. You're unclogging the main drain.
It's amazing how much of this Ramadan preparation is actually just fixing the traffic.
You cannot separate them. If you want Ramadan tourism, you need a functioning city. You can't have the romance of the lights without the reality of the roads.
Now, there is an emotional layer to this source material that we really haven't touched on yet. We've talked about concrete and buses and ramps, but the video includes a song. And the lyrics are, well, they aren't exactly subtle.
No, they are very patriotic, highly emotive.
Let me quote a bit here from the transcript. It says, Egypt, the most precious name, and you are the civilization before history and time. It's not just a tourism jingle like, come visit us, we have great food. It feels much deeper than that.
It connects the physical construction to national identity. The synthesis here is that these renovation projects, the parking lots, the facade painting, the slum removal, they are fueled by this deep sense of national pride.
Right.
The source is framing this development not just as an economic necessity to get tourist dollars, but as a duty. A duty to the precious name of the country.
It's reclaiming the city's glory, in a way.
Precisely. When they say civilization before history, they're reminding the viewer that this city has been here longer than almost any other. So cleaning it up and showing it off is a matter of respect for that legacy. It frames the dust and the chaos not just as daily inconveniences, but as insults to the nation's history that finally need to be corrected.
It really paints a complete picture when you look at it all together. You start with a viral video, the outsider looking in, totally amazed by the lights and the noise. Then you peel back the layers and see the government machinery working overtime, extending metro hours, building bridges, restoring ancient mosques.
Then at the core of it all is this massive drive to modernize without losing the soul of the place, to make it totally accessible to the modern tourist without destroying the ancient fabric that they came to see.
So what does this all mean for you listening at home? We started looking at a drone shot of a party, and we ended up discussing what is essentially a masterclass in urban renewal.
The big takeaway for me is that Ramadan in Cairo has transformed. It is no longer just a local religious tradition. It has become a strategic tourism product. But unlike a built-from-scratch theme park, this product is a living, breathing city of 20 million people.
Yeah.
The state is backing this brand with heavy, heavy infrastructure investment because they see the long-term value in it. It is a really unique blend of faith, fun, and urban renewal.
It is absolutely fascinating to see how a calendar event can dictate the entire construction schedule of a capital city.
It shows the sheer power of culture. Culture drives the economy, and the economy drives the infrastructure. You fix the roads because you want people to come see the culture. It's an endless cycle.
Before we wrap up today's deep dive, I want to leave you with something to think about. We talked about the shaky video versus the highly produced drone show. The source highlights this massive top-down effort to curate the experience. Coordinated facades, designated viewing spots, removed slums, perfectly painted parking garages.
Right. It's becoming very organized, highly curated.
So here is the thought to mull over. As historic cities modernize their traditions for a global audience, do they risk losing that spontaneous, chaotic charm that made that original amateur video go viral in the first place? Where exactly is the line between developing heritage and Disneyfying it?
That is the million-dollar question. Can you have the convenience of a modern multi-story parking lot and the safety of a pristine street and still keep the magic of a chaotic, noisy, vibrant, thousand-year-old market? It is a balance every historic city in the world has to strike. You want the tourists, but you don't want to become a museum exhibit of yourself.
Definitely something to mull over next time you see a perfectly curated travel video pop up on your feed. And seriously, if you have a moment today, go look up some of that drone footage of Cairo at night. Regardless of the urban planning debates behind it, it really is something else.
It is truly spectacular. The visual payoff is definitely there.
Thanks for deep diving with us today. We will catch you on the next one.